fellas in the 45th Infantry Division. I never knew him, but he went out on a patrol too, and he came back and he got hit. But when he found out, they thought, you know, they wanted to see how seriously he was. He was all right. The shell, I mean, the projectile or whatever it was, hit a Zippo lighter, and it never penetrated his...
And Zippo lighters, I think you can still buy them today?
I think you can.
Yeah. Bob, what experiences left you with the greatest impression while you were in the service? You had mentioned relative to meeting servicemen from different countries.
I shipped from Japan to Korea. I shipped on the same boat with the French Canadians. Once we got into Korea, we had attached at times to Turkish troops, and then also men from the UK, England,
Right.
Britain, you know.
Right.
And then, of course, there was quite a few different countries involved in Korea.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't know how many, but there was a few.
And you mentioned the fact that there was a lot of camaraderie amongst the
There was,
nations.
it really was, especially with the English, you know,
Right.
they were great, you know.
Our closest
And
allies.
the Turks, I'll tell you, they were good soldiers to have with you because they were fierce fighters.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And your civilian history, you get out in August of 1953.
3 August, yeah.
And then you said you started working just before Christmas, is that?
Yeah, I was home from, say, 1st of September to the beginning of August, and we're hanging around with friends in a local bar, whatever, you know, and think of old times. And one fellow approached me and he says, you know, my brother, I was talking to my brother, and he said they're looking for some help. You'd be interested in going to work. And I said, well, I'm only home a couple of months. And I thought about it, and I said, yeah, tell him I'll go, you know. And I started here 2 weeks before Christmas at this, and it was in construction.
Right.
And I'd been in construction all my life, and, and that was it. And it was a good thing about it. I don't know if it was me or the work I did or whatever, but I never collected an unemployment check in my life, in my lifetime of working.
And you married Marie,
Yeah,
your wife?
right.
And when was that?
No, that was in May 7th of 1957.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you have a
and
daughter?
The daughter, yeah, Nancy. She lives out in Pequannock, New Jersey,
Okay.
and with her husband Greg, my son-in-law.
All right.
And they have 2 boys. Gary is 21. Andrew is 16. Gary's in college now. He's at Elon University, his 2nd year in North Carolina, and Andrew's at Don Bosco Prep up in
Okay.
Ramsey.
Might he be on their football team?
Well, he's not on the football team. He's on their lacrosse team.
Okay.
He's in his junior year. As a matter of fact, my first grandson, he went to Don Bosco too, but he was on track.
Bob, did anything happen to you during the war that affected you when you came home?
No, just maybe the first couple of months, George, where my mother used to tell me, or come in a room and tell me, what are you yelling about, you know, and stuff like that. But actually it wasn't a lasting thing, you know. I guess as you got accustomed to being home and on the quiet side.
And she remembered what you used to say in your dreams.
She said to me, I think it was something like, well, what are you yelling about, or who you yelling to, you know. But George, I can't remember what I was yelling either.
Something
maybe
about hitting a target, or
maybe hitting a target or something. But
And Bob, your feelings on the war. You mentioned the phrase police action.
well, that was what the Korean War was called.
Yeah.
Police action. I don't agree with it, but it was like anything else. We lost a lot of men still. I don't remember the exact number anymore, but what was it 47 to 53,000 maybe, something like
Wow.
that. And but when we came home, and I don't know about the Vietnam era, but when we came home today, there's a lot of welcome home people really glad to see you and this and that. When we came home, then it was on the quiet side,
Yeah.
Well, good to see you back, and that was about the end of it.
You did mention at your end of the service in Korea, they would take you, the guys were going home in trucks to Seoul, and what the Korean citizens,
Oh yeah.
how they reacted?
Well, some of this naturally was the southern part outside of Seoul, and well, they didn't give us the victory sign. They gave us the single finger, But I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but
Yeah.
but it was, as if to say, well, go,
Right.
we're rid of you. But I don't know how you can determine you can do something like that after these people were in plenty of trouble in the beginning,
Yeah.
but this is the price you pay, I guess.
Bob, you have two grandchildren. What might your thoughts be relative to them possibly someday having to go into the military?
Well, I hope it doesn't happen. I never said anything to them, because to really, I don't even know if, well, I can't say that they don't know what draft is, but,
Right.
since it's a volunteer service, all these, after the Vietnam War, it's been all volunteers, so, but I hope to God I would never see that, to see them, even, if they were offered to go to West Point too, what do you do,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's a darn good education, but
Right.
there's risk involved, I guess.
Yeah. Well, Bob, as one veteran to another, I thank you for your service.
Well, I thank you for being. I'm glad I'm here. I knew about this post for a long time, and living so close, that you were the one that approached me about 2.5 or 3 years ago, and here I am.
Well, we thank you. And you've been an asset to the post.
George, it's a great bunch of fellas.